She says it softly, smiling, maybe even laughing. The words float between you like butterflies, innocent and weightless. You don't notice the poison in the sentence? Not yet. But months later, when you're sitting alone wondering what happened, you'll remember that line and realize it was the warning you ignored. Because women don't always lie with silence. Sometimes they lie with sweetness. The most dangerous words come wrapped in care, delivered with gentle voices and concerned eyes. If she ever says any of these 6 things, don't explain, don't argue, don't try to understand. Just walk. Today, we'll decode 6 phrases women use that sound innocent, even caring, but secretly reveal emotional manipulation, control, or hidden contempt. These are not words of love. They're quiet exits disguised as comfort. If you value truth over comfortable lies, hit that like and hype buttons immediately. Subscribe to this channel and tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. I want to know where my strongest, most aware men are tuning in tonight. You deserve someone better. She delivers this line like a gift, wrapped in humility and sacrifice. Her voice is soft, her eyes downcast, playing the role of the selfless woman who loves you too much to keep you. But listen carefully to what she's really saying. This isn't about your worth. It's about her exit strategy, with moral innocence intact. The psychology is brilliant emotional manipulation disguised as noble sacrifice. She gets to leave while positioning herself as the caring one who wants what's best for you. You become the ungrateful one if you question her decision. She's not rejecting you. She's setting you free. How can you argue with someone who claims to love you so much they're willing to give you up? Watch the performance carefully. The pity smile that doesn't reach her eyes. The way she avoids direct eye contact while delivering the line. How she controls the narrative by making it about your theoretical happiness with someone else rather than her actual feelings about you. She's not being humble. She's being calculating. This phrase appears when she's already emotionally checked out but needs a clean exit. She's found someone else or simply decided you're not worth the effort, but she wants to leave with her reputation intact. The "you deserve better" line lets her be the good person in the story, while you become the project she couldn't fix. Notice how she never specifies what better means, or why she can't be that person for you. The vagueness is intentional. She's not offering constructive feedback. She's offering emotional termination with a bow on top. The phrase absolves her of responsibility while making you grateful for being discarded. She might mention your wonderful qualities, how amazing you are, how lucky someone will be to have you. But notice what's missing. Any commitment to being that someone herself. The praise becomes a weapon, used to justify why she's leaving rather than celebrating why she's staying. But the next phrase doesn't sound gentle. It sounds righteous and therapeutic. I just need space right now. This is the modern woman's favorite emotional escape hatch, dressed up in therapy language and self-care wisdom. She's not asking for space. She's creating distance to test new attention while keeping you on standby. The phrase sounds reasonable, even healthy. Who can argue with someone's need for personal growth? The psychology is strategic emotional distancing masked as self-awareness. She gets to explore other options while maintaining moral high ground. You become the needy one if you question her boundaries. She's not abandoning you. She's working on herself. How enlightened. How mature. Listen to the language she uses. Everything becomes about her energy, her healing journey, her need to find herself. She talks about boundaries and growth while simultaneously monitoring your social media activity. She needs space from you, but somehow always knows what you're doing, who you're with, where you've been. Watch the timeline. The space she needs coincidentally aligns with her increased social activity, new friendships, sudden interest in going out. She's not isolating herself. She's isolating you while she samples other options. The space isn't for reflection, it's for reconnaissance. The most telling sign is how she maintains digital surveillance while claiming to need distance. She'll watch your stories, check your activity, monitor your emotional state, all while insisting she needs time away from you. The space is selective. She needs distance from commitment, not from information about your life. Notice how the space always has unclear boundaries. No timeline, no specific goals, no definition of what space actually means. This vagueness is strategic. Defined boundaries would create accountability. Undefined space creates control. She can extend it indefinitely or end it suddenly based on her needs, not yours. The space becomes a testing ground. She watches how you handle her absence. Do you chase her, proving you're needy? Do you give her attention, proving you're available? Do you move on, proving you never cared? Every response becomes data she uses to determine your value and her next move. And when she's sure you'll wait, when she's confident you're not moving on, she moves to phase 3. The reality rewrite. It doesn't sound cruel. It sounds calm. That's what makes it dangerous. You're overreacting. This is gaslighting's greatest hit, delivered with the calm confidence of someone who's rewritten reality. Your legitimate concerns become emotional instability. Your justified anger becomes irrational behavior. Your natural responses to her actions become character flaws she needs to manage. The phrase lands like a verdict from a judge who's already decided you're guilty of feeling too much. The psychology is responsibility reversal disguised as rational observation. She makes you doubt your own perceptions while positioning herself as the stable, logical one. Your feelings become the problem, not her behavior that caused those feelings. She's not defending her actions. She's diagnosing your reaction to them. Watch the performance carefully. The slight head tilt that suggests she's dealing with someone unstable. The calm tone that contrasts with your emotional response, making you look unhinged by comparison. The way she suddenly becomes a therapist, analyzing your behavior, rather than a partner addressing your concerns. Her voice drops to that measured cadence reserved for talking to children or psychiatric patients. This phrase appears after boundary violations, lies, or contradictions, when your natural response threatens her narrative. Instead of acknowledging what she did, she focuses on how you're responding. Your anger at being lied to becomes a communication problem. Your hurt at being betrayed becomes emotional dysfunction. Your confusion at her contradictions becomes your inability to understand simple situations. The most insidious part is how she uses your emotional investment against you. The more you care, the more passionate your response, the easier it becomes for her to paint you as unstable. She creates the problem, then pathologizes your reaction to it. Your love becomes evidence of your instability. Notice how she never addresses the content of your concerns, only the intensity of your response. She's not interested in resolution. She's interested in control of the narrative. Your feelings become symptoms of your issues, not evidence of her behavior. The focus shifts from what happened to how you're handling what happened. The phrase evolves and escalates over time. First, you're overreacting to small things, her tone, her lateness, her phone behavior. Then you're overreacting to bigger things, her lies, her secrecy, her emotional distance. Eventually, your emotional responses become proof of your general instability rather than evidence of her specific manipulation. She builds a case against your sanity, one reaction at a time. She might suggest you need therapy, medication, anger management, stress relief. Your natural responses to abnormal situations become abnormal responses that need professional intervention. She's not just dismissing your feelings, she's pathologizing your ability to feel at all. Your emotional range becomes a medical condition requiring treatment. The phrase creates a perfect double bind. If you react strongly, you're proving her point about overreacting. If you don't react, you're accepting her behavior. If you try to explain calmly, you're being defensive. If you get angry, you're being unstable. Every response confirms her diagnosis of your emotional dysfunction. The phrase is often accompanied by examples of your past overreactions, times when you got upset about things she now frames as trivial. She's rewriting your relationship history, making your justified responses seem like a pattern of emotional instability. Your reasonable reactions to unreasonable behavior become proof of your unreasonableness. Watch how she compares you to other people. No one else would react this way. My friends think you're being dramatic. Even your family says you're too sensitive. She creates a consensus against your reality, making you feel isolated and wrong for having normal emotional responses to abnormal situations. But here's what most men never realize. When someone consistently makes you feel crazy, the problem isn't your sanity, it's their honesty. When your reactions seem disproportionate, check what you're reacting to, not how you're reacting. Normal people don't create situations that consistently require extreme reactions. I would never hurt you. This line is exclusively spoken by people who already have hurt you or are actively planning to. It's defensive projection disguised as romantic reassurance. She's not making a promise. She's setting up plausible denial for future or past actions. The psychology is preemptive innocence, designed to confuse your instincts. By declaring her good intentions, she makes questioning her behavior seem paranoid and ungrateful. She's not proving her character. She's establishing an alibi for when her character gets questioned. This phrase typically appears after she's violated boundaries, broken promises, or been caught in contradictions. Instead of addressing what happened, she redirects to her intentions. The hurt you feel becomes irrelevant compared to the hurt she never meant to cause. Impact becomes less important than intent. Watch for the fake vulnerability that accompanies this line. The tears that seem perfectly timed. The hurt expression that suggests you're being cruel by not believing her. She's not defending her actions. She's defending her identity as someone who could never do what you're accusing her of. The most telling aspect is the timing. This declaration comes when you're questioning something specific, not during random moments of affection. It's reactive, not spontaneous. She's not expressing love. She's managing perception. Notice how the phrase is absolute. Never and would never don't allow for human complexity or mistake. It's the language of someone who's creating a character rather than revealing one. Real people acknowledge capacity for harm. Manipulators deny it entirely. The phrase becomes a shield against accountability. Any evidence of harm gets dismissed because someone who would never hurt you couldn't possibly be responsible for your pain. Your hurt becomes proof of your misunderstanding, not evidence of her actions. She'll expand the defense by listing all the ways she cares for you, all the things she's done for you, all the proof of her good intentions. The evidence becomes overwhelming. Not evidence of her care, but evidence of how unreasonable you're being for questioning someone so obviously devoted. But when denial fails to rewrite her actions, she hides behind philosophy and spiritual wisdom. When she says it softly, that's not affection. That's anesthesia before the cut. Everything happens for a reason. This is spiritualized detachment, emotional escape disguised as enlightened acceptance. She's not offering comfort. She's shutting down your right to feel hurt by reframing betrayal as destiny. Your pain becomes part of some greater plan that you're too limited to understand. The psychology is responsibility avoidance wrapped in philosophical wisdom. She doesn't have to account for her choices because they're part of fate's design. You can't be angry about destiny. You can't argue with the universe's plan. Your hurt becomes resistance to spiritual growth. Listen to the detached tone that accompanies this phrase. The calm smile that suggests she's achieved some higher understanding while you're stuck in earthly emotions. The way she uses spiritual language to create distance from accountability. She's not your partner anymore. She's your spiritual teacher, explaining life's lessons. This phrase appears when the consequences of her actions become uncomfortable. Instead of dealing with the fallout, she elevates the situation to cosmic significance. Your relationship didn't fail because of her choices. It ended because it was meant to. You're not hurt because she betrayed you. You're learning because the universe is teaching you. Watch how she uses growth vocabulary to reframe destruction. Everything becomes a journey, a lesson, a blessing in disguise. The pain she caused becomes wisdom you needed. The trust she broke becomes attachment you needed to release. Your suffering becomes your curriculum. The most cruel aspect is how this phrase silences your natural emotional responses. Anger becomes resistance to growth. Hurt becomes attachment to outcomes. Wanting accountability becomes spiritual immaturity. She's not just leaving. She's graduating while you're held back. She might quote spiritual texts, mention synchronicities, reference her personal growth journey. The breakup becomes part of both your destinies, a necessary step in your evolution. She's not abandoning you. She's fulfilling her cosmic purpose. The phrase creates a hierarchy where she's spiritually advanced and you're spiritually stuck. Your attachment to the relationship becomes evidence of your lower consciousness. Your desire for accountability becomes proof of your spiritual immaturity. And the final phrase is the quietest, but it ends everything while pretending to preserve it. I still care about you. This is closure control disguised as continued affection. She's not expressing love. She's maintaining an emotional leash while walking away. The phrase keeps you connected to her narrative while she disconnects from your reality. You matter enough to care about, just not enough to stay with. The psychology is backup access masked as compassionate concern. She gets to feel good about herself while keeping doors open for future contact. You can't be angry at someone who still cares. You can't move on completely from someone who maintains connection. She's not ending things. She's changing the terms. Notice when this phrase appears, usually in messages after periods of silence, during your birthdays or difficult times, or when she hears you're moving on. The timing isn't random. The care is conditional and strategic, designed to reopen wounds she helped create. Watch the language that surrounds this phrase. She'll mention thinking about you, hoping you're well, wanting you to be happy, all while maintaining distance from actual responsibility or commitment. The care is theoretical, not practical. It costs her nothing and keeps you available. The most revealing aspect is what this care doesn't include. No accountability for past actions, no commitment to changed behavior, no willingness to rebuild what was broken. The care is feeling without action, sentiment without sacrifice. This phrase serves multiple purposes. It maintains her image as someone capable of love. It keeps you emotionally accessible if she needs validation or attention. It prevents complete closure, leaving doors open for future manipulation. The care isn't about you. It's about her emotional insurance policy. The care becomes a weapon of confusion. It makes moving on feel like betrayal of something good. It makes your anger seem unreasonable towards someone who still cares. It creates cognitive dissonance between her words and actions, her feelings and behavior. She might send thoughtful messages on difficult days, remember important dates, check in during your struggles. The care feels real because the gestures are real. But notice what's missing. Any willingness to address why the care wasn't enough to prevent the relationship's destruction. Because caring without staying isn't kindness. It's control wearing love's costume. It's having your emotional cake and eating it too. It's maintaining connection without commitment, sentiment without sacrifice. Words are weapons, especially when spoken with calm eyes and steady hands. These 6 lines don't explode. They dissolve you slowly, one gentle phrase at a time. They sound like comfort, but feel like poison. They promise understanding, but deliver confusion. So when you hear them, don't negotiate. Don't explain. Don't try to decode the real meaning or find the love hidden underneath. Just recognize the pattern and leave before the silence finishes the job.